No. There's another the software I use for recording. Okay, so one of the things you can do with a list, once you have your list, you're happy with it, you can change the value of an item in a list. Is that clear? You can change the value of an item in a list. For you to change the value of an item in a list, you need to state the name of the list followed by the index of the value you want to change in square brackets, then you, after that, an equal sign, then the value you want to replace it with, and that's what you're going to see. So here we have a list of insects. So we've got ant, bee, butterfly, centipede, cockroach, cricket, dragonfly, then a fly, housefly, then grasshopper, ladybug, and other insects like that. We want to see, before we change, we want to see which item is the third item in the list. Third item. So the third item has got index 2. That is the index of the third item. And that is going to give us a butterfly. So the index 2 is the position of the third item in the list. So if you want to change the value butterfly, which is the third item, you want to change the value butterfly, then you want to change it to something else. Is that clear?
Yes.
You have to state, you have to tell Python, this is the name of the list which contains the item whose value I want to change. So the name of the list is insects. Then you have to tell Python the position of the item in the list you want to change. So butterfly has got index 2. That's the position of the item you want to change. Then after that, an equal sign. Then the value you want to replace with. The value after the equal sign, you put the value you want to replace butterfly with. So in this case, we want to replace butterfly with this value, moth. Those butterflies which fly at night. Because butterflies fly during the day. Their cousins fly at night.
Okay.
Yes. Now that we have done that, then we check what is the third item in the list. When we do this, now the third item is no longer butterfly, but it is moth. Are we clear?
Yes, I'm seeing.
This is how you change the value of an item in the list. You start with the name of the list, then in square brackets, the position of the item whose value you want to change. So you put in the index, then after that, you put the value you want to replace that particular item with. If we print the insect list, now you see, instead of butterfly, what we have is moth. Okay, again, we have another list of animals. These are the animals: lion, kangaroo, giraffe, hippo, camel, elephant, panda, rabbit, dog, zebra, horse, rhino, monkey, tiger, and cat. The first item in this list of animals has got index 0, the lion. Okay, so we print that. The first item in this list, it's the lion. Then I want to change the value of this first item, so to tiger. So I start with the name of the list, which is animals. Then after that, in square brackets, the position where I want to make the change in the list, 0. That is the first position. Then what do I want to put there after the equal sign? What value do I want to put there? Instead of lion, which is here, I want to put tiger. Okay? That's what you do there. I want to put tiger instead of lion. Like that. Then if I print animals now starts with tiger instead of lion. Is this clear?
Yes.
So this is how you make changes. Let me just pause a bit. Let me get some. All right. The next thing which we're going to look at after learning how to change the value of a list, of an item in the list, is how to add items to a list.
Okay.
Yeah. Now there are two ways of doing this. You can add an item to at the end of the list, or you can add an item, not add, you can insert an item at a specific position.
Okay.
So you have to state at what index position you want to insert. Okay? There is also adding at the end. Now, if you want to add at the end of a list, that is what's known as appending. To append something is to put something at the end. So if you want to append a value, you basically, those values, you add them at the end of a list. For us to append a value, the end of a list, we use a method called append.
Okay.
Yes, we use a method called append. And how does that work? So let's see. So here we've got a list, fish, which we've already made. So we print it. So we see, just remind ourselves to see what our list of fish looks like. So this is a list of fish. Now tilapia, now page, red breast tilapia, catfish, butterfly fish, tiger, swan, sunfish. So if you say the name of the, so for you to append using a method, you start with the name of the list. The name of the list is fish. Okay? The name of the list, which is fish. Then after fish, you put a dot.
Okay.
You've seen that dot?
Yes.
Then append, the name of the function or the method. Now, append is a special function called a method, because append only works with lists.
Okay.
Yes. Then inside the parentheses, you put the value you want to append at the end of the list fish. So we want to append boga boga. So we do that. Then we print fish. When we print fish, then we check at the end of fish. We find our
Buka buka.
has been added to the end.
Okay.
If you want to add more, for example, we also want to add carpenter. Okay, so you start with the name of the list, which is fish. Then after fish, you put a dot, then followed by append. Then inside the parentheses, the value we want to add to the list, the end of the list. We want to add carpenter, a string. So you do that. Of course, you don't get any confirmation if things have been appended. The only you only get the confirmation when you print the list fish. Then you check at the end.
Just a minute. Let me just answer this one.
Okay.
Okay, we can go on.
Yes. So you see that carpenter has been added at the end there.
Yes.
So that's one way of adding items to a list. You can add items to a list at the end of the list. When you add things at the end of a list, we say you are appending. Okay?
Okay.
And for you to append, you use the append method. So you start with the name of the list, then you put a dot, then append. Now, the fish list, as you could see, already had stuff in it. Okay, so append also works when you start with an empty list. For example, I create an empty list here called butterflies. It doesn't have anything. I print out butterflies.
Yes.
There's nothing in there. But I can start adding items one by one to this list using append. So I can I want to add this kind of butterfly, red admiral. So I start the name of the list I want to add stuff to, that is butterflies. Then next followed by the dot on as one on the other side, followed by the dot, then append, then the value I want to add to the list, red at barrel. So I run this. Then I print butterflies. Then you see there, it has been added to the list. Next, I want to add this guy, PHY. So again I go butterflies.append, then the value I want to add, PHY. I run that. Then I say print. Then you see it has been added at the end there. So read my arrow, PHY added at the end. Then I want to add also this one, common blue. So you say butterfly dot, it's the same process. The name of the list, then you dot, then append, then the value you want to add, common blue. Then I print. There, common blue. So append always adds at the end. Okay. The other way you can add stuff to your list is by inserting. Okay. For you to insert something, you need to insert it at a particular position.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes, at a particular position.
Yes. So you need to say what position you want this value to be inserted.
Yes.
And for you to carry out an insert, you use a method called insert.
Okay.
So this method called insert is going to expect from you a position where you want the value to be inserted and the value you want to insert there. So insert expects two things from you: the index where you want your value to be inserted and the value which has to be inserted. Okay. So for example here, I want to insert this butterfly monarch. I want it to be the first item in the list of butterflies. Right now the first item is this guy.
Yes.
Yeah, but I want the first item to become this butterfly monarch. So I give the index of the first position in that list, which is 0. So I say butterflies.insert the index 0, then the value I want to insert there, monarch. So if I run this, then I print butterflies, you see that monarch is now
Number 1.
the first item. Yes. Okay. There is this other one, this other type of butterfly, orange tip. This orange tip butterfly, I want to insert it at index 3, index position 3. So I start butterfly.insert, then the index where I want to insert this thing, index 3 is the 4th position from the first. Okay, 4th from the first. That's index 3. So basically, in this case, this is the first one, this is the second one, the third one. So this orange tip is going to be inserted between PHY and common blue. That is the 4th position. There. Run that. Then I print butterfly, and you see that's the position it has occupied. It is the 4th item now. Okay. Same. This one works. This one is going to insert. If you use a negative, like in this case, negative, it's going to insert before the last item. So the last item in this case is this one, common blue, right? So the insertion, if you say negative index, then it should happen before the last item. That's. Then you print. Yeah, so here, eyed brown has been inserted before the last item. Okay. So basically, those are the two ways of adding items to a list. You can append, which means you're adding at the end of a list, or you can do an insert, which means you are adding at a specific position in your list. So you tell Python, I want you to insert this particular value at this index, and this is the value I want you to put there. Are we clear?
Yes.
All right, the next task which you can do with a list is how to remove things from a list. And to do this task of removing things from a list, there are a number of ways you can do that. You can remove an item using the delete function. This, of course, is going to require you, delete function is going to require you to know the position of the item you want to remove. So you need to know the index, okay? You can also remove an item using a method, list method called pop. The pop method also requires you to know the position of the item you want to remove. Then there is the remove method. This remove method does not require you to know the position. What it requires from you is to know the value. You need to know the value of the item. Okay? You need to know the value of the item you want to remove. So let's have a look at how this works. Let's start with a delete function. So the delete function, you have to give, the way it works is, for example, we have list animals, list of animals like this. If you want to remove the 5th item in this list, so firstly, the first one is tiger, second kangaroo, third giraffe, 4th hippo, 5th item is camel. If you want to remove camel using delete, so you start with the name of the function, delete, then inside the parentheses, you tell delete the list, the name of the list. Okay, so in this case, the name of the list is animals. Then in square brackets, you tell delete, in square brackets, you tell delete the index of the item you want to remove. Is that clear?
Yes.
So you start with the list, the name of the list, then the index of the item you want to remove. So if you do that, delete goes about its business quietly. Remember, we're trying to remove camel. Then if you print animals again, now after hippo, camel is no longer there. The next one is elephant. So camel has been removed using delete. You can also use delete, like in this case, you are trying to remove the first item in the list animals. The first item has got index 0. So you start delete, then the lists, the name of the list, it's animals, then the index of the first item is 0 inside the square brackets. So you run that.
Yes.
So that should get rid of tiger. So if you print animals again, you see, the first item is gone. Tiger is gone. It has been removed. Now the first item is kangaroo. So basically, you can remove items like this. Another way you can use delete, you can use delete to remove the last item in a list. Right now, the last item in our list is cat.
Yes.
Yeah, cat. And we know any last item in the list has got index -1, right?
Yes.
So you can say delete, then the name of the list, animals, then in the parentheses, in the square brackets here, -1. So that should delete the last item in that list, animals. If you print animals here, and you check the last item is no longer cat, but now it's tiger. Are we clear?
Yes.
So that's one way of removing stuff from a list. You can use the delete method. Sorry, the delete function. You can also use the position of an item in a list to remove items using a method called pop. The pop method. This pop method. Okay. Now, the pop method basically 2 ways. If you don't give it an index, the pop method removes the last item in your list. Then it also shows you which item it has removed. The delete wasn't showing us anything. We just had to confirm by doing a print. Pop, on the other hand, is going to, if you don't give it an index, you just say dot, whatever the name of the list, then you put a dot, then pop, then you don't give it an index, it's going to remove the last guy in the list. Then it's going to show you this is the guy I have removed.
Okay.
Yes. Sometimes also you can give pop an index, say, I want you to remove the item at this particular index. So it accepts a value, as we're going to see. So let's start with, again, let's go to our list of insects. We print, this is our list of insects. Then we want to use pop without any index. So it's a method. So you start with the name of your list, insects, then you put a dot, then pop, without putting any value in the parentheses there. If you do that, pop is going to remove the last guy, which is the wasp there. It's going to remove the last guy, and it's going to show you this is the guy I have removed. You see? It tells you I have popped out wasp. When you print your insect list, then you check at the end, it no longer has any wasp. The last item is now ticked. Okay. You can give pop a position, the position of the item you want to remove. For example, we want to remove the 5th item in this list of insects. So the 5th item is which one? So this is 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Cockroach. Right? For the 5th item, the index is 4. So we say insects, then dot pop, then the index, which is 4. Then you run that. So Python tells you, oh, I've popped cockroach. Is this clear?
Yes.
Then again, you print out insects. If you look at insects, there's no cockroach there, because it has been popped, it has been removed. So the difference between pop and delete is that pop, when it removes something, it also shows you something, what it has removed.
Yes.
Delete does not show you what it has removed. It just goes about removing things quietly. You can also pop the first item in the list. Right now, the first item in the list is ant. The index of this first item is 0. So you can say insects.pop 0. Then it tells you I've popped ant. Then you print ant has been popped. The good thing with pop is that the popped value can actually be stored in a variable.
Okay.
Yes. If you pop something, that value you're popping, you can actually store it in a variable, then use it later for something. For example, right now, the first value is now B, right? So we are going to pop it. After we pop it, instead of displaying it like this, the way we've been doing, we are going to save it in a variable called popped item, like this. Then we're going to print out popped item. You see? There. The popped item can actually be saved.
Okay.
Is this clear?
Yes. Print out popped item.
Yeah.
Then, so print popped item. Then it shows.
So when you pop an item, the item you're popping, you can save it. So depending on what you want to do, when you're removing things from a list, if you want to use the item you're removing for something else, then use pop, because pop allows you to store the item you have removed from a list. Okay? Delete does not allow you to store an item it's deleting. It just deletes it and you can't store it.
Yes.
Is that clear?
Yes.
All right. The next one is, so delete and pop allow you to remove items from a list using the position. The next thing is you can remove items from a list using the value of the item. Because sometimes you have a list which is very, very long. So you don't really know exactly where a particular value is. Is that clear?
Yes.
You don't know where a particular value is. So if you don't know where a particular value is, you can remove that particular item by its value using the method remove. So here we print out our list of fish. Okay, so this is our list of fish. Then we want to remove by value this fish, red breast tilapia, this one here, the third item in the list. So how does this work?
Yes.
So you start, it's a method. So you start with the name of the list, which is fish, then followed by a dot, then remove. Now remove accepts a value, not a position, an index. So you put in the value of the item you want to remove there, red breast tilapia. Then when you do that, remove does things, okay, quietly. It's not showing you what it has removed. Then you print fish, the red breast tilapia, this one, which was the third item in the list, is no longer there. See?
Yes.
Yeah, it has been removed. You can also remove this type of fish, this sawfish, which is here. I don't know the position, but I know the value. It's sawfish. So I can say fish.remove sawfish. Okay, then I go about that, then I come down, then I print fish. It's no longer there. The sawfish in this list was after tigerfish. Tigerfish is here.
Yes.
It's gone. You see that?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically these are the three ways in which you can remove items from a list. So we have seen how to change the position of an item in a list. We have seen how to add items to a list by appending. When you append, you add items at the end of the list. Is that clear?
Yes.
Then we have also seen how to insert items in a list using the insert method. With insert, you need to specify the index or the position where you want the item to be inserted. Then later on, you specify the value which is supposed to be inserted there. Okay. Then we have also seen how to remove items from a list. How to remove using delete. Two methods of removing using the position of an item. You can use the position of an item to remove using the delete function. So you type delete, then inside delete, you type the name of the list, then in the square brackets, the index of the item you want to remove. That's with delete. You can also remove items using position with the pop method. So you start with the name of the list, then you put a dot, then pop, then inside pop. If you don't put anything, pop is going to remove the last item in the list. If you put an index value, then pop is going to pop the value which is at that particular index. The third one is by using remove. Remove uses the value of an item. It doesn't use position. So you say the name of the list, then you put a dot, then remove, then the value of the item which is supposed to be removed. Are we clear?
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to another thing you can do with the lists, and that is organization. Okay. You can organize a list by sorting it or by reversing it. When you sort something, basically, especially with the list, when you sort a list, your list is going to start from A all the way up to Z. Okay? That is sorting. So either you can sort like that from A to Z, or you can sort from Z to A. That is sorting. Okay?
Yes.
This sorting can be permanently done, or you can sort temporarily. You just want to sort for a short time. You don't want your sorting to affect the list permanently. Okay? Or you want to actually sort your list so that your list changes permanently. The third way to organize a list is by reversing. You can reverse the list so that the first item becomes the last item becomes the first item, the second item becomes the second last item, the second last item becomes the first item. That's reversing. So you reverse the order in which things are without sorting. Okay? Are we clear? So let's see how we can do these things. So the first one is, if you want to change, you want to sort your list, and you want the sorting to be permanent, you have to use the method called sort. This method called sort. This method works with a list. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so here we create a list called cars. These cars, as you can see, the items in this list called cars, there's BMW, there's Audi, there's Toyota, there's Subaru, there's Mazda, there's Jeep, there's Mercedes, there's Fiat, there's Kia, Maruti, there's Ford, there's BYD. So these are car brands, okay? But they don't appear in any specific order. They're just there, okay? Which is basically not quite well organized. So we print that list. So that's what it looks like. Now, what we want to do is we want to sort this list so that these items appear alphabetically from A to Z. Yes. So how do we do that? So you start with, since you're using a method, sort, you start with the name of the list. Okay? This is how you use methods. The name of the list, which is cars, then you put a dot, then the method. Right now, we have not given sort any information. So basically, if you don't give sort any information, what sort method assumes is that you want your list arranged from A to Z.
Okay.
Yes. So when you do that, it has happened. Then now we print cars. You see what has happened to cars now. Now you have Audi, you have BMW, BYD, Fiat, Ford, Jeep, Kia, Maruti, Mazda, Mercedes, Subaru, Toyota, arranged alphabetically.
Okay.
Yes. Is this clear?
Yes, very clear.
Okay. Sometimes you want to arrange your things alphabetically, but you want to start from Z to A. If that's what you want, then you give sort more information. The sort method, you give it more information. There is an argument. There is a keyword there called reverse. So you
Reverse.
yes. So where you say reverse equals true. So once sorts your list, then after that it's going to reverse it. So the first item is going to be the last item. The last item is going to be the first item. So in this case, your list is going to start with Toyota, Subaru, Mazda going this way. When you say reverse equals true, as you are sorting. Is this clear?
Yes, yes.
So let's do this. Sort equals true. Then we print cars. So here you are now. So you start with, now your list is starting with Toyota, Subaru, Mercedes, Mazda, Maruti, going all the way to A. The reason why it's doing that is because you asked sort, it should sort the list, then after sorting the list, it should, because when it sorts, it arranges everything from A to Z. Then you told it, after you finish sorting, reverse this list. So the last item should become the first item should become the last. And that's why you end up with these. So you have ended up with a sort and a reverse.
Yes, so it has started with now Toyota, Subaru, Mercedes.
Yes.
Mazda.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is this clear?
Very clear.
Yeah, so this is when you sort your list permanently. Okay? There is also another way of doing things where you want to sort your list only for a short time. You don't want things to become permanent.
Okay.
In that case, if you don't want things to become permanent, then you use a function, okay, called sorted. You use a function called sorted.
Sorted?
No, sorted.
Okay, sorted, yes.
Yes, use a, there's the one you're from looking at is a method
Yes.
called sort. It's a method called sort. So the method starts with the name of the list, then you put a dot, then the name of the method, then whatever it is, whether it has got receives information or doesn't receive information. Now this one is a function like delete, like print.
Yes.
Yes, this one sorted is a function like print, like type, like delete. Okay, so in this case, you are going to start with the name of the function. You are going to say sorted, then you're going to give it a list. Okay?
Yes.
Now, what sorted does is, when you give it a list, again, we create the same list, the cars list, the one which is not sorted. Okay?
Not sorted.
Yeah, this one which is not sorted. This one. Then we print it. Okay? Okay. Now, when you give this list to sorted, so you say print, then inside print, you give sorted, then cars. This is what you get. Okay? You get Audi, BMW, BYD, Fiat. So basically, yeah, it has been sorted, right?
Yes.
What you receive is a list of sorted cars, right?
Yes.
But when you print cars itself, you see that cars has not changed.
Mm.
Cars is still what it was. But sorted, from cars, it gives you a list of sorted cars. So basically what sorted does is, it copies the list cars, then it sorts the copy. Are you clear?
Yes.
So car sorted is going to copy the list you've given it, which is cars. Then it will sort the copy. Then after the copy is sorted, then it shows you the copy. It's not showing you the cars.
Okay.
It's showing you the sorted copy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that is down there, that is a sorted copy.
Mm-mm.
The sorted copy, the sorted is starting with Audi,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
BYD,
Mm-hmm.
Fiat, Ford, Jeep, yes, Kia, Mahindra, Mazda, Mercedes-Benz,
That
Subaru.
is, yes, that's the sorted one. The sorted copy.
Yes.
The actual list itself, cars, is this one, which starts with BMW, Audi, Toyota. This one is not sorted.
It's showing up the one which is up now there.
Sorry?
It's showing what is now the one that is in the original copy there.
Yeah, because it hasn't been changed.
Mm.
So sorted does not change the original. It only modifies the copy of the original. So the original stays the same.
Okay.
Is that clear? That's what sorted does.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You can also tell sorted to reverse things. You can tell sorted, say, okay, give me a copy of this list which is sorted, but I want it in reverse. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
And how do you do that? So you say print, sorted, then cars. So you give it the name of the list, which is the cars, then you put a comma, then you tell it, give me a list which is sorted but is reversed. So you say reverse equals true, set to true. So in this case, we are going to get a sorted copy but one which is reversed. There.
Yes.
Okay. If you just want to reverse a list, if you want to reverse a list without sorting it, without doing any sorting, then you have to use the method reverse. This reverse method. this method reverse is going to reverse your list without doing any sort of sorting. So here we have cars. So this is our cars, right? Then we want to reverse it. So we want BMW, Audi, and all these guys to be at the end. Then whatever is at the end, BYD, Ford to be at the beginning. So we say cars reverse. Cars, that's the name of the list. Then dot the method reverse. Then if you print cars, you see your cars has been reversed. It starts with now it starts with here. It starts with BYD, Ford, Mahindra, Kia, Fiat. BYD, Ford, Mahindra, Fiat, like that. Then BMW, Audi, Toyota, Subaru are at the end. Do you see that?
Yes.
When you reverse again, you can reverse your list. Cars again. If you want it back, you reverse it again. Then you print cars. Now it's back to what it was. So basically, you reversed it, then you reversed it again. So it comes back to what it was.
Okay.
Is that clear?
You have done two reverse now.
Yeah, we have done two reverses, yes. So you can do that with the list. Okay. Yeah, we got disconnected by Google. They're trying to connect us back. Are we clear?
Yes.
Okay, so these are methods. And the way we are using these methods is how you're supposed to do that restaurant. Some of the things, how you're supposed to do the restaurant question. Yeah. But we will see, we'll work on the restaurant question next week when we create stuff with it. Okay. The next item you can do with the list is, maybe you want to make your list longer. Extend. Remember, so far, when you have been adding items to a list, we have only been adding one item. With append, with insert, we have been adding one item at a time. Okay? But sometimes you want to add more than one item to your list. So if you want to add more than one item to your list, you can use this method called extend. This extend method accepts a list of items which are going to be added to the end of another list. Let's see how this works. So I print out a list of prime numbers, a list of even numbers, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I also print out another list, a list of odd numbers, here, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. So I've got two lists. Okay? I've got a list, even numbers. I've got a list, odd numbers. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. I create an empty list called numbers. Now, what I want to do is, to this list called numbers, I want to add all the items which are in even numbers. As you can see, this is more than one item. There is more than one item in even numbers. If I was to do this with append, I would start with append 0, append like that. It's going to take me time. But if I want to add all the contents of a list to another list at once, I use extend. So I say numbers, that is the name of the list I want things to be added to, then I put a dot, then extend, then the name of the list I want to add to numbers, which is even numbers. Then I run this. Remember, numbers was empty here. Now, when I run numbers, I print numbers, numbers has got stuff in it. I have added more than one item to numbers which was empty. Okay, all the contents of even numbers, I have added them to numbers at once.
Yes, extent even numbers, so meaning that all the numbers are coming.
Yeah, so everything, all the numbers all the items which are in even numbers have been put in numbers. I can also proceed to add all the odd numbers. So I can say numbers.extend odd numbers. When I do this, now you see exactly how extend works. Then I print numbers. So what do you see here? This was the first list of even numbers. Then the list of odd numbers. So the entire list, everything in the list is added at the end, like that. Now clearly, what we have here is not a very good way. It's not of organizing things. So we want to sort things so that we start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 11. Not the way we have here. So what we want to do is we want to sort permanently. We want to make this list of numbers look pretty and nice. So that's where our sort method comes in. We say numbers.sort. If we say numbers.sort, then now we print numbers. Now our number starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Any questions?
So far, no question. I'm getting it very clear.
Okay, that's nice.
Just on this one, this the one that where you are placing, where you just the numbers to learn, it's there, or you just created that.
Which one?
Where you say let it learn, separate numbers, where there that's like where you place on the video type like.
Oh, the thing I'm pressing on here.
Yes.
Yeah, this is part of the software. The Google Colab software.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Google Colab.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just there to allow you to run. It's like the run in Jupyter Notebook. Yeah, the run button. The other thing you can do is you can find out how many items are in a list using the length function. Your list, how many items are actually in your list using length. For example, we've got numbers, you can say, now length is a function, so you start with length, then inside length, you give it a list so that which should be checked to find out how many items are there. So in this case, length numbers, it tells you numbers, the list numbers has got 12 items. Okay? So basically, this is how you check for the length of a data structure, a list or anything. You say length, then you put in the list, then it gives you how many items are there. So that's how you check for the length. The other thing you can check for is if, you know, sometimes lists can be, especially with you doing big data and stuff, you can have very big lists. So it might not be possible for you to actually check and see whether the item you're looking for is there in that list. So Python gives you a way to check for membership to a list using a keyword in, an in keyword. For example, remember we have got a list of cars, huh? Called cars. So here I'm trying to check if this car, Honda, is in that list of cars. Okay, I'm trying to check if Honda is in the list of cars. So I say Honda in cars. So Python will check. If Honda is in cars, then Python will tell me true. If Honda is not in cars, then Python will tell me false. So Honda in cars gives me false. Honda is not in the list of cars. This one, we know Audi is there, right?
Yes.
So Audi in cars, then you get a true. So for you to check for membership to a list, you use this guy in. Is that clear?
Yes.
A particular value. So the Honda is the value. So the value or whatever variable is having Honda, then you say in cars.
It shows false because it's not there.
Yes, it shows false because Honda is not there. The next thing you could want to do is to copy a list. Now this is, sometimes you have a list, yes, then you want to make a copy of that list. You don't want to make modifications to the actual original list. Okay? So you want to make a copy. Now, for you to make a proper copy of a list, what you need to do is to slice the list so that you have a slice of everything in that list. You understand? So imagine you have got a list A, then you want to create a copy B. If you want to make a proper copy, what you're going to do is this. You are going to slice the list A. This. A, then square brackets, slice. You put a colon in the middle there. We know that that slice is going to produce a slice, okay, of everything in that list. And that slice is what you're going to store in B. Are we clear?
Yes.
This is the proper way of making a copy. There is another way of making a copy which is not so proper, like this.
It's the best way.
A. You store A in B. When you do something like this, when you store A in B, what you're doing is you're not creating a copy, but what you're doing is you're creating a nickname for the list A. Is that clear? You are creating a nickname for the list A so that the list A is also called B. So basically B and A in that case will be the same list. So if something happens to this particular item, the list B, it also happens to list A. If something happens to list A, it also happens to list B. That happens like that because A and B are the same list. If you want to avoid such a relationship where if one suffers, the other also suffers, then you have to copy your list like this. You have to copy your list using a slice.
Okay.
Are we clear?
Yes.
So let's see how this works. We have our list of cars here. So we're going to copy it the wrong way. So we are going to say, okay, fine, we're going to create another list called rights. So these rights, we store cars. So this is the wrong copying. So what we are creating here is not a new list, but what we are creating is a nickname for the list cars, which is rights. Okay? So when you do that, good. When you print rights, everything looks nice. It looks like you have actually copied cars.
Yes.
Okay? That's what it looks like. It looks like you have actually copied cars. But then you can start carrying out some tasks to see if this is a case. For example, you can sort rights, okay, with a sort method permanently. You want to rearrange everything in rights. When you sort rights, fine, it doesn't complain, then you print rights. This is what you get. So your rights has been sorted, right?
No.
Then you print cars. Now see what happens to cars. When you print cars, you have seen what has happened to cars?
Yes.
Your cars have also been sorted.
Yes.
But you didn't sort cars. You sorted rights.
Yes.
You see that? So whatever happens to rights happens to cars. Whatever happens to cars happens to rights.
Okay.
That is only possible if rights and cars are one and the same thing.
Yes.
Is that clear?
Very clear.
Okay. We're going to remove something from cars, and we're going to check if that particular something you have removed is present in rights. So from cars, we remove Mercedes-Benz. We don't know what the value is, but we know there's a Mercedes-Benz somewhere there. So we use the remove method, because the remove method allows us to remove an item from a list using its value. So we say cars.remove. Okay, so it has been removed. Then I want to check if Mercedes-Benz is there in rights now, because previously it was there, right? Here, rights, Mercedes-Benz, right? There it is. So I want to check now if after I remove Mercedes-Benz from cars, is it there in rights? Mercedes in rights. False.
Okay.
Mercedes has also been removed. This is only possible if these two guys are one and the same thing. Yeah. So rights is the nickname, or in programming we call it the alias of cars. Technically, rights nickname, the technical thing for nickname is alias. Are we clear?
Yes.
So this is the wrong way of copying.
Okay.
That's the wrong way of copying. The right way of copying involves you using a slice. So you copy like this: cars, then slice. We know this cars slice gives you the whole slice of everything in the cars. Then we'll store it in supercars.
Okay.
Like that. Now we can print supercars. We try to see. Oh, okay, it works. So it actually copies something. You print cars. Okay, so right now, supercars and cars look like they're a copy of each other, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which is true. But there's more to that. They are actually two different lists.
Okay.
As in, if something happens to the other one, it doesn't happen to the other one.
Doesn't affect the other side.
It doesn't affect the other side. For example, in supercars, I remove Mahindra from supercars.
Okay.
I remove Mahindra from supercars. Then I check if Mahindra is now present in supercars. False.
Was.
Then I check if Mahindra is present in cars. True. You see the difference now?
Yes.
So we are now dealing with two different lists. The other one, we remove something from it. It doesn't affect the other list. It still has its stuff because it's a different list. I also proceed to remove Fiat from supercars. I check if Fiat is present in supercars. It's not there because I've removed it. I check if Fiat is present in cars. It's there. I print the list of cars. This is the list of cars. Okay? Then I print the list of supercars, because I've been deleting stuff from supercars. Right? You see, the lists are different. The one for supercars is shorter, the one for cars is longer, because we have deleted two items from the supercars list. Is this clear?
Very clear.
Yes. So, if you are going to copy a list where you want to make experiments, you want to make modifications, you need to copy it using a slice.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you don't copy it using a slice, Whatever modifications you make on your so-called copy, those modifications are going to affect the original list. Is that clear?
Very clear.
Yeah, that's not what you want to happen. Then how do you delete a list? So we're getting to the end. Well, you can delete a list using the delete function.
Okay.
Yeah, you just say delete, then delete, you give it the name of the list you want to delete. Just the whole name of the list, yes. Like in this case, delete supercars. Then you delete supercars. Okay? Then you try to print supercars. If it has been deleted, then it should be an error. Then Python tells you there is an error somewhere. There's an error somewhere. Delete is not defined.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically that's the stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions?
As at now, I need just to take time to go through.
Okay.
I know it was good.
All right. That's nice.
Mm.
So for next week, hope you have sent me the question.
Let me just send. I want to get it on my phone, and then I'll send it to you.
Okay. So proceed to send the question. So next week you're going to start with that question.
Okay.
Then after we start with that question, when we finish with that question, then you're going to move to a topic called tuples.
Go to pause. Okay.
Yeah, they are also like lists, but they're a bit different. They behave differently. Okay, so we come to the end. So see you next Friday.
Thank you. See you next Friday.
Cheers.